weekday, which is pretty much my bedtime with three kids. Let's finish up the movies and get there. But I try and dig into this as much as I can during the day and into the evening. But if you've been following what I've been doing for the last 9 months, I think we're just going on 9 months here with video series. I've taken you through 3D modeling in Rhino, into parametric modeling in Grasshopper, into some computational work at the ghpython node and the C# node. But I'm finding now the next step is optimization in generative art. And I've made this little video here, which was just drawing out, scripting it, showing it that where I basically climbed to this apex and it's about ready to invert. And I've got to find another way of getting into optimization, generative modeling, and machine learning and artificial intelligence. Otherwise, I guess I could just put it that I realize I am what I am because of a certain level of artificial intelligence, be it recording, watching recorded videos of other people that aren't literally there. It's just pre-recorded videos of them, even though I'm getting into some live streams. And then choices I'm making as a human are obviously influenced by that. And if I could tie in and set the parameters for optimizing certain things, then I'm having an effect on what decisions are being shared back to me. So I see those things as somewhat cyclical, being human and then dealing with artificial intelligence. And that's just my concept of wrapping my head around it. I'm not very skilled in it. I've only spent the last 3 years or a couple of years to get here, but I realize that this is critical to make this shift. So I will downsize that again to smaller, go to my next page. And what I've recently done is found a way into an incredible company, Dimensional Innovations, and it's pretty much self-employed myself there. And it's, but as a visiting scholar, and if you see what I'm going to get to play with is some incredible facility, and that engagement that it's referred to is one of which I would like to bring my skills in Rhino 3D, Grasshopper plugins, ghpython nodes, and C# nodes. But of course, I want to do something physical with them. I want to actually reach out and try and make some interesting geometries or smaller scale architectures and things like this, but obviously have the discussion, the creative, conceptual discussion around things like this. So what I've done is in the past, you may know me on Facebook as Michael Wickerson, and I've generated what I did a while back was I thought, hey, let's grab this text and not translate it from Chinese into English. Let's translate the ghpython node from Rhino script syntax into Rhino common. Well, that turned into a nightmare, and I realized I needed to know a lot more and be much more fluent in C# or in Rhino common namespaces and understand. And I think I'm getting better at that. I'm still studying very hard and daily under the videos coming out of Parametric Camp, and I'm trying my best to learn that. And then I thought I'd make, these were private sites for a while, and I gathered over just about 3,000 people in the ghpython script very quickly. And then the C# is going to be at 500, and I think there's some very serious developers that know a lot more than me. I still have yet to get through my C#. It's probably used as a doorstop. Such a big book, C# coding book version 3. And then I made some public sites, and I've always had this very interesting site that I started with called Scratching the Surface, which literally was just to bring that to the students at the Kansas City Art Institute and say, listen, how can we really get into this stuff and just start scratching the surface on digital media and sculpture and what that might mean. So that's been a very exciting site. But what I've done is I decided, well, it's time today to make the jump to generative design in Grasshopper. And there's a great video series online, which I posted here, and you can see people just tonight are starting to sign up. Some of my favorite developers I've invited. I'm very excited about where this may end up going. And the discussion is going to center around my understanding of Anton Savov's generative design in Grasshopper. What I like about this is I think he uses one plugin to handle us. Maybe he doesn't even do that. I think he generates his own sun path just from scripting in what's referred to as vanilla Grasshopper, just the nodes off the shelf for Mac or Rhino users. So I'm really going to eat this up again. I've been through the series before. I've taken my computational skills, you can see down here, into creating my own kind of C scripts, C nodes, and user objects. I've used this on I found some people on Patreon to support me. I've sent these out on GitHub to those individuals. But until I get a firm understanding of the geometries and can work with generic geometries in a optimization or setting of parameters generative way, I'm not going to be happy. And with that, I think in doing so, I'm going to be able to go back to this and flip the generative into taking a look a little deeper into machine learning and then artificial intelligence. I end with intelligence augmentation because I'm quite willing to get the thing in my skull and see what that ends up doing for me. Or at least my children. I'll test it on them, I guess. They're young, but they're into coding and scripting. This is the video series that I'm going to start with. As you can see, coming out of Darmstadt. And it is incredible. And some of the techniques in Grasshopper, the spaghetti and worms are nuts. There's not a lot of ghpython nodes, and there's not a lot of C scripting in that, but it's actually fairly basic and stays on a simple geometry. I think of this Chrysler Tower and how that's playing out. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I hope people become interested in this. I hope you can jump in and start following generative design in Grasshopper. And this is some older models based on C scripts that I've generated for the image, but this is not generative. This is obviously tending there in a sense that I'm creating data tree nodes for generating data that will drive geometries. So hopefully this makes sense to some. It really does go back to this diagram that I don't think I've created, but well, I created it, but it's the way I saw things. I came to Rhino through Grasshopper and Python and C# scripting, and then I was able to return to Rhino and really dig into that massive set that these are subsets of, but you can go outside of that. And now it's time to really fully wrap my head around not just the logic behind it, but creating geometries and scenarios. So you can look for that in the next video series coming out of New Directions on my YouTube channel. And I hope you find it exciting, and hopefully I can climb up to, a million subscribers like Mosh. But I'm still pretty new to this. I don't boast on being an expert. I boast on being somewhere beyond an enthusiast, but well into the basic and into the intermediate level on all of these topics. So if you want to watch this video, you can do that on the video series. If this makes a little sense to you, please keep following and really consider jumping on the generative design in Grasshopper, and let's start it. And already I have an international group of developers that are willing to jump in, and we will see what we can do with I always have to start with something because I can't make stuff from nothing. That's just not in my ability. So thank you very much for watching, and I'm very excited to get started, and we'll jump into this series with Anton Savov and give him credit for it. Onward to generative design. And how do I turn that off?